Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ranks, we have returned for the grand finals of the Great Lakes Collegiate Valorant Fall Minor number one. Man, I hit that. My name is Sir Mickey. I am joined by the lovely Phil. You're over here. Philly is joining me for the grand finals. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing great. Happy to be back. I'm gonna have, I think, a showdown between the top two teams in the league, the way the grand final should be.
Yep, 100%. It's going to be Columbia College who showed some pretty solid dominance offline a little bit ago with the team they beat ended up only collecting 6 rounds between 2 maps, which just goes to show how much Columbia really wants to be here. Baker did something similar in a 2-0 fashion, winning 3 maps in a row, but 2 within that series, going up to the grand finals in a 2-0 fashion is both these teams did that. So it's pretty impressive. And you're absolutely right. Both these teams belong here. They have earned their place in the grand finals. And again, it is going to be a best of 3. First map is going to head towards Bind. We're going to act like I didn't just shove my chair into my desk and shake my entire setup. Everything is fine. Bind, again, is going to be going in the way of a that says win. I was gonna say attack, but everything's fine. Baker College is, I believe, gonna get to start on defense on Bind, and then the second map is gonna be Lotus. If need be, we're gonna head to a tiebreaker in the form of Haven, which I always say you can't have a best of 3 unless we have Haven in the mix, and we had that in the last match, and it was fun to watch. But Bind is a map we already saw tonight. Specifically, you, Philly, you casted that alongside our man Josh. So in terms of that map, how are these teams going to have to play to overcome each other?
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see if Columbia had anybody paying attention, because it was earlier on stream. Baker College on Bind on stream. They were a pretty default B long push pretty much every round, or almost every round on attack. So we'll see if Columbia College knows and is aware of that to pay attention to it. And I think we'll probably see Baker College try that again, as it was pretty successful for them. But I don't know. It was kind of, Baker College had that map pretty well in hand, so I don't know how much they really showed. So yeah, they may have some wrinkles up their sleeve for us that they can throw at Columbia College.
They may have some secrets within that we have not seen quite yet, but I don't know. We haven't seen Columbia play on Bind, so we don't really know. That's a big question mark on that side of things. So they could be absolutely nasty. We could see a 13-0, or maybe it's going to be a more even game like we've seen. Well, I was going to say like we've seen earlier, but tonight's been a little bit of a dominance showcase so far. I mean, 13-8 isn't terribly dominant for Baker, but they did it twice, so that alone is pretty nice for them. But again, second map is going to be Lotus, which we were talking about in the last series. We just saw that Baker just played that, so that's gonna be fresh. They're gonna know what to do and when to do it. They know exactly how to play Lotus on that 3. The extra map is definitely, it's so far, the extra side I should say is definitely in Baker's favor. They know what they're doing there. And if need be, map number 3, the decider, is going to be Haven, which again, those 3 sites, they're looking a little nice for Baker. But again, we haven't seen Columbia play because they were playing offline. So they could be absolutely dominant on all 3 of these maps, and we won't even need the third. But you really never know because it's collegiate. And but the only thing we know for sure is that both these teams deserve to be here, and they're going to show us that in this grand final.
Yeah, we've got 3 maps we've already played. We're seeing all 3 of those maps here in the grand final potentially. It's just going to be a repeat. We're just going to let it roll it back. And Mickey, I know I was listening to the stream with you and X-Ray. I know how you feel about back-to-back 3-site maps. You're not too excited about it. Yeah. I personally like it. I think it allows more flow to a game. At least when I'm not playing. When I'm watching and commentating, I like the 3-site maps, a little more flow, a little more spread out. But I get it as a player that it is very frustrating because it feels like someone's always stuck on an island when you're defending those.
Yeah, 100%. And that's kind of where I was as a caster. I love watching it. I love watching that final person just sitting on C site waiting for help that's never going to come. but as a player, it is absolutely horrendous to be that lone player that's stuck alone. Just because math, you can never really have an even distribution on defense for a 3-sided map. But we'll focus on that later. Bind is going to be our first map of the grand finals. And ladies and gentlemen, if we're not aware, I haven't really talked about it that much. I don't think we've touched on it at all during the stream, but this is for all the marbles. $200 is going to one of these teams, and the other team will get a cool 50 as a runner-up prize. But you know, that's $10 a person. Your coach doesn't need any money, but $200 is a little nice. Thank you for coming on in, and thank you for showing us what you've got. But it looks like Columbia is ready to go. Baker ready to go. Everybody's locked in, all 10 here. We are going to see Yoru, Gecko, and Deadlock for the first time this evening, and Chamber. Ladder moves hopping on that Sentinel. We saw how dominant ladder moves was with that operator on Lotus. So now he said, okay, I'm apparently really good with the op, so I might as well just have that in my kit. So let's hop on Chamber and hit some heads, shall we? But I'm excited either way.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little surprised actually that Baker, I'm pretty sure, has mixed up their composition for Bind from what they ran the first map of the day. And here we go, getting into the map to see how everybody's going to get set up. And off the start, it's going to be a 4-defender start on B, at least for the moment, as we still have some time ticking away. Baker College going to stack that B site heavy defensively.
Very, very defensively, and that's kind of what you need to do. Well, actually, no, never mind. My brain was thinking we're on a 3rd site map, but we're not. I was gonna say it's kind of what you need to do is put all that attention on one site and then rotate as needed, but we're not there quite yet. Everything is fine. I know game. Everything is absolutely fine. But here we go. A little bit of aggression coming into Hookah from the side of Columbia. Slow aggression, I should say, but early picks, early damage onto Columbia. And we're going to get out of the way there. The double flash, my goodness. I'm surprised there was no carnage down long on that one. That was scary to watch.
And it's going to be a quick rotation out of that for both teams actually going over to Ace. Brimstone Smoke's going to come down. And I realizing here, actually we'll wait and save that for a round break as we're going to start throwing some lead down range here. Brimstone also going to throw out the Molly on the defensive side, and it's going to be another quick rotation here, it looks like, over to that B site.
Switchblade & Company seemed a little undecided, a little messy early on, but it looks like they have found a home here on B site. Now comes the abilities. Bomb planted, it's retake time for Baker. We've seen how solid they can be on these angles. Exhibit A, that early match earlier on tonight, but Nami and Fate proven what they have what it takes, but it comes down to this 2 versus 2.
One enemy remaining.
The Sky Heals could mean the difference here, but no. Sky actually goes down. Evo now, 22 HP in a drain. Beautiful right click to shut down Bon. And just like that, Columbia gonna go ahead and take the first round.
Yeah, little hectic from both teams there to start, but once Columbia College was on site, it was surgical precision, constant trading out of team members from them, and they end up getting the final right-click kill there in the pistol round. What I was going to say, though, in the middle of that round, the thought came to me, for ladder moves, he actually was on Cypher previously on this map for the first map of the day. And I'm wondering if he went to Chamber because he was feeling good with that op, like you said, on Lotus. So I think that could just be a heat check here for him.
And it's not a huge transition because still Sentinel role, right? So it's not a total different style of play. It's just, hey, I want an extra gun in my kit. And that's exactly what you get with Chamber. I mean, the ladder moves had proved themselves time and time again with that operator. You might as well put it in the back pocket and get it every couple rounds if you're getting those kills, those headshots. But Switchblade beautifully avoiding the ability there with the flash through the wall, catches Bon off the flash, gets a bird to the face. It doesn't matter because Nami gets put down, and suddenly between all that, Baker is at a 2 versus 4. Colombia could essentially go wherever they want. They have the abilities still. They have the weaponry. They have the timing. They have the man advantage. Fate is blocked off with this deadlock wall here, though. 40 seconds on the clock. CC's going to go ahead and get bomb planted here, but
Spike planted.
it's this wall that's playing time for them.
Yeah, I think they still haven't quite gotten through it yet, or they're electing to just stall out. And with that breach, they're just going to have to hold off, probably walk back into bomb range here when it goes off. I can't imagine they're going to be saving here with nothing really to save.
Yeah, it's second round. They're still rocking pistols. I mean, Ladder Moves has those headhunter shots, so they could save that, but other than that, yes, Fate, we see your vitality skin. We see it. We see it. Skins equals wins. We know. All right, but it looks like they are going to go ahead and save here. No, they're going to die to bomb. Yeah, they're going to die to bomb. Get the extra money. You might as well. You need it. Everything's fine. But Colombia showing those first 2 rounds how strong they are. Baker not quite quaking in their boots. We've seen how strong Baker is all tonight. Every game we've seen so far on stream, Baker has proven how dominant they can be. So they're just looking for their window of opportunity at the moment.
And it's going to be... Actually, it looks like they're going to go away from their default, or at least what they showed is their default the first 2 rounds with the Yoro clone going into hookah. It's going to be a side hit this time for Colombia. Going to be Switchblade with the Tremor, trying to get any type of information. Nothing going on. Big kill there in bathrooms. And then traded out again, as Columbia College is so apt to do here so far. 4v4, full health bars for everybody. Gonna play around this smoke. Is the sky. The smoke dissipates, and gonna be contact, and it's gonna be a win there for Demon. As we've said a lot today, Demon still being a Demon tonight.
Yeah, definitely living up to the name. There's a reason they picked that name. And shall we see the reason here momentarily? Maybe not. Gonna go ahead and back off. They don't have to push. That's the thing on defense. Baker, they know they don't have to push. Just play time. There's less than a minute for Colombia to push one of these sites. It seems like a 3-man stack at A is the way to go so far. CC's pretty stacked up here themselves, but it might be in their favor as Demon does go down at the hands of Evo, who picks up one more. That Sky Flash off the board can be a little bit harder.
One enemy remaining.
Oh my goodness. I don't know how those connected, but they did. Carnage takes down Bond, and suddenly it's Baker's own Ladder Moves in a 1 versus 3 as the Vandal. We've seen how detrimental the headshots can be when in the hands of this chamber. Is that going to come to fruition, though? The abilities, stun come out. It's all about timing here. Switchblade comes from behind from showers. Ladder Move just wasn't ready for it. And that's all she wrote. 3 rounds in a row for Colombia.
Yeah, you can already see that Columbia is using that deadlock utility to perfection, using those walls. No chance for Ladder Moves to sneak up on him, because he had to shoot the wall out to get through and made a lot of noise. So Columbia had some good information and intel from that wall there. So kind of back to the drawing board here for Bakers. They are going to be in a eco round trying to challenge this, I guess, half buy, almost 2/3 buy or 3/4 buy for Colombia.
Yeah, at the end of the day, the money really is a huge factor in this, and Baker is not doing too hot on that front. But Colombia is the operator. Oh no, that was not an operator. That was an outlaw. I don't know why I thought that kind of sounded like an operator. My brain broke for a second. The outlaw though coming out. I believe that does 160 to the body or 140 to the body or something. That thing hits ridiculously hard. Hits harder than my dad. But Colombia definitely getting a little bit more aggressive coming up long here. Looking for their timing. The guns trading out here. It's all about time. Less than a minute. They're going to have to make a decision whether to push or rotate. But Ladder Moves with that early pick might make their decision that much easier.
Just swapping, playing the gun game here, getting the right gun for the right situation. Legend's gonna get flashed and blinded by the goo. And another flash from the Sky Animal, gonna go down, and looks really good here early for Baker. Gonna be Bond going low though, and gonna go down. Actually stays alive on 1 HP. I thought with the switch that was Bond going down, but stayed alive. And now it will be Columbia's turn to save. Oh, actually, Evo had the bomb. My mistake. He's going to plant the spike here on A.
I didn't know he had bomb either, but here we go. 1 versus 3 on the post-plant defense. Very little HP from Bond. They may use him as a decoy. I know we saw this a little bit earlier on today in the same situation. Out comes the orbital strike. Picks up 1 beautiful headshot onto Fate. I cannot believe that Bond is still alive. But that Gecko Molly did quite a bit. The monster has so much damage. It might be exactly what they need, but no, Evo is just better. Picks up 2, barely survives with 6 HP. And there we go, 4-0 in the way of Colombia. As we check out this replay here, we see Wingman on bomb. Evo read it like a book. Gets rid of the diffuser, but they got half, so it was close. But unfortunately, Evo just those headshots, man. They came in clutch. And man, Evo did exactly what they needed to do. Played time and just did just enough damage to solidify that 4th point on the board for Colombia.
Yeah, Colombia kind of doing what Baker was doing earlier in the night, winning all of the clutch rounds and keeping everything in their favor as the rounds got tightened up. We'll see if Baker has a chance to bounce back here. Going to be a lurk here for Sky on bathrooms, just sitting in this playing in the smoke again. And not a lot going on now. Yoru's going to do the clone move into Hookah and back out. Here, Sky, this is going to be interesting timing. And the shots go through to be traded out, though, by Fate. And big trade there. It was almost a pick for Baker there.
Man, you're starting to wonder what's going on in Baker's head right now. I mean, they've been so solid all evening. All of a sudden, it seems they may have met their match in Colombia here, but again, timing is everything. Evo comes out, beautiful shots through that smoke, gonna give them that much more of a man advantage. And now it's 3-man retake for Baker. I mean, again, they've been so dominant tonight. They've been on top of everything and everyone, and now they're starting to realize, they're starting to know what it felt like to be Ohio Northern in this situation. But we were talking about Colombia on offline. They let their opposing team gather a combined 6 rounds across 2 maps, so we knew that this wasn't going to be a walk in the park for either of these teams. But so far, Colombia is looking pretty strong in these first couple rounds.
Great tremor there from Switchblade. One's going to go down 2v2 now. Time running out, though, definitely in the favor of Columbia College, and they're going to be able to back out with the win. 1v2 clutch for Switchblade, even though most of the work was done with his teammates alive.
Baker's got to find a gap. They got to find a chink in this armor, and they got to do it quick, as they are going to go ahead and call a timeout, gather their thoughts. Okay, guys, listen, we're on defense. We're opening gaps here. Where can we close these? What are we doing wrong? What can we adjust right now? While we have the time to think of it, we need to think of something to shut down Colombia right now. And Colombia, at the moment, they're just like, all right, let's just keep doing what we're doing. I mean, Evo's sitting up there 9-1, absolutely just going off for no reason. But no, there is a very good reason, actually 200 reasons for Colombia to continue this reign of terror at the moment. But I'm just hoping Baker can give us something here.
Yeah, we've got Evo at the top of the leaderboard. Conversely, Demon, who we've talked about a lot this evening following Baker through the quarter and semifinals. Demon sitting at 2-5, not the best map for them. But that also gives you a little bit of hope for Baker College if you're a Baker College fan, because all you need now is Demon to turn it on and you're right back in this thing. It's not like Demon's playing out of his mind and they're still losing. So it'll be interesting to see if Demon can take that step forward and start fragging out like they have been all night.
Yeah, it's kind of there with ladder moves as well. We saw both those players absolutely going off on Lotus a few moments ago, and now it seems like they've kind of slowed down just a little bit. I mean, really the entirety of Baker has been getting picks all night, just been dominating in terms of kills. But at the moment, not too. They're kind of not a whole lot of reasons to think that they're going to come back here. But again, anything is possible. But a lot of aggression coming out from Colombia once again. Renai could have a beautiful off angle here. It's all about timing. Beautiful. The controller goes down, but a quick trade. Sky on sky violence here. And just like that, we've seen it time and time again. Colombia going to go ahead and get bombed down and then immediately retract from sight and give themselves some room to play with and play that time.
Gonna be a weapon for Bond, though. It's gonna be big. Not gonna shoot the Yoro clone. Gonna let that walk past. Good move. And a pick there from Nami on the Switchblade. This could be the opening. And as I say that, Legend gets picked off by, or ladder moves get picked off by Legend. And Bond alone. Bond's gonna go down. And Evo just continues to the reign of terror to just destroy this Baker College team so far. 11-1.
Oh my.
Already double digits in kills, and we are only 6 rounds into the map.
I mean, we were talking on Lotus, ladder moves was doing the same thing, and now it seems that it's like every bit of energy Baker had, they poured into that Lotus match. And now they're running on E. The tank is virtually empty, and they have to find something to go here. They have to do something to create space to get themselves in a position where they can do some real damage to this Colombia team, because right now it's not working.
No, it is not working at all. It is important to mention, though, that this is Colombia's map pick bind, so
it's expected.
It is expected that they have some things to throw out here on attack. When you pick a map, you usually expect to play attack first, so you want to keep that as a strong opener in the game of chess that is Valorant, as we say. And it will be a Columbia College going to just slowly push up B along with the Sky Lurk again.
And that Sky Lurk is doing exactly what they need to do, just draw some attention towards that A site. Now all of a sudden Baker only has 2 people standing on B site, but Recon the ultimate comes out. Is he gonna allow Columbia on site? Baker, oh no, Bond gets caught in the deadlock, all
30 seconds left.
thrown all the way down site. Down goes Bond, the orbital strike comes out, nobody's picked up though. Ladder moves. Had a great angle to do some great damage and nothing came out of it. That's going to trigger one quick rotate from Colombia. Going to go ahead and get bombed down. It gives them just enough time to lock down sight. But Nami was already there and waiting. The other Sky lurking here.
Nami going to kind of push out into A main. Going to see Sky going to just force that back. Believe that was the breach ult we heard in the background. Going to be a couple kills here on the concussed players, and just Ray's Demon alone and gets gunned down, not even able to see their attacker. 7-0 Columbia College, and that was a symphony of ultimates there that kind of got thrown at Baker College.
Yeah, and there goes their best case scenario of a tied half. I mean, Baker, they need to put the net. There's no 2 ways about it. They have to get 5 rounds in a row here to even, or at the very least 4. An 8-4 half is still not impossible, but nothing is impossible with Baker involved. But it's just gonna be that much harder if they don't get at least 3-4 rounds in a row here. I mean, Colombia is just looking so strong, and Baker, they need to find something. This is. Oh no! Oh, okay.
That's ladder moves.
Well, they found the team, and ladder moves was also found, and it didn't go the way they wanted it to go.
So it's going to be a lurk here. First kind of flanking maneuver we've seen on defense tonight, and it's going to be Demon and Sky rotating around. Going to see here, bad timing for the peek. Got to have your gun out when you go around a corner, and Switchblade's going to get traded for it, though. Still 3-4. Nami not able to really capitalize on that flank as it got sussed out and it is going to be a B hit onto site here rather than taking the teleporter back behind the flank. Spike goes down, and it will be another 4v3 retake for Baker. Not going well for them, and that's just going to be a pick there from Legend onto Bond, and everything falls apart for Baker.
Man, I feel like they're just making mistakes after mistake. I mean, Demon ran around that corner with his knife out and just wasn't ready for I believe that was Evo to be positioned where they were, and they got the trade, so that gave them a little bit of time there. Or no, that was yeah, everything's fine. Somebody got killed, and it gave them time to rotate and lock down the site a little bit more, but unfortunately in the end it wasn't enough for Baker to solidify the hold here. And I mean, this is I'm gonna be honest with you, Philly, I'm a little upset watching this. I mean, Baker all night was showing us how strong of a team they were, and now it's like they are a completely different team. It's like a switch flipped and they forgot how to play together, and you just see them kind of scrambling to create space, and it's not working.
Yeah, so I had the thought here as we get a pick from Nami. Interrupting that thought, it's going to be a flash out, going to be Demon going down as well as Nami. And even when you start off with a pick here for Baker, you still end up in a 3v4 outnumbered retake here. Evo's going to throw, looks like he was preparing that ult, but decided to back out of it. And it will be... Actually, it was just the smokes. My apologies. I thought the ult was ready. And it will be Switchblade now pushing forward through the elbow here. Smokes come down. Still waiting. And it will be ladder moves with the op here. Not ideal. Gonna get picked off. And that is not really what you want as Baker College fans here. 2v3 now, finally able to get a pick, but the spike's going down. Bond's gonna have to save the op, and that will do this round.
Man, this is grand finals, Philly. What is going on? There's no way that Baker is gonna allow Columbia to come from the offline bracket and do this to them in the grand finals. I mean, I understand that Columbia is a solid team, but Baker is just... There's no other way to put it. They are just making mistakes right now. It's like all of a sudden, Demon and ladder moves, they were going off in the last couple maps, and now all of a sudden, I don't know what happened, but suddenly they just have the game sense of an avocado and don't know what's going on around them. They need to figure something out here. They're on defense, and this map isn't necessarily attacking sided, but I mean, I just expect more from Baker. They have to figure something out here to slow Columbia down, call the timeout or the rush mid or something, do something. You got to pull out all the stops to put a stop to Columbia.
Yeah, Nami did get a pick here, so, and just as I say that, it's going to be another pick for Switchblade and Renai, and it is now another 4v3 retake, the place that Baker has been in all map. Not where you want to be, definitely when you're down 9-0. And the retake, all three players coming from the same area. Oh, actually, it's going to be Sky on a flank here. Will get spotted out here, though, quickly in a moment. Ladder moves with the pick with the op, though. Got some value out of that. Legend gonna reposition here. Seeker ultimate comes out from Sky. Evo gets a kill. Could it be Nami with the kill? 2v1, is this the chance? Is this the time that Molly's perfectly placed?
Yes!
And they do get it. Can they stick the defuse, though? They can.
Oh, it's gonna be close. Yes, barely. 0.62 seconds, just under 1 second. Baker is able to clutch it up despite that Molly. Man, the Brimstone Molly, man, that does so much damage. But I do want to touch on the fact that Evo is currently 13-2 with 4 assists. I mean, you talk about someone playing out of their league. I mean, and then Nami's up there. That's the thing, right? Look at Nami, 12-8. Baker is getting kills, but unfortunately, Nami seems to be the spearhead at the moment, literally doubling the second fragger. So it's showing that you can go in and get kills, do damage, you can be that hero. But as long as your team is not backing you up, nothing's going to get done. It doesn't matter if you go in and get an ace every round. If you're not working with your team, it's not going to go the way you need it to go. And at the moment, Baker is just falling apart, and they have to find a way to pick up the pieces.
Looks like Baker picked the right site here to stack at least early. 4 members on A and 4 members looking to split push this site, but it is the slow push. Still plenty of time for Columbia to reconsider and back out. Evo is looking to drop the smokes though onto the site. I think I hear them coming. Here they come, and that is a pick there for Legend. Gonna get blinded here. Not anything going for the kill though after the blind, and it is still 3v4 though, but this time in favor of Baker, playing through the smokes. Nami with the flash, gonna get picked off and traded. 1v2, big Evo goes for 2 there, picks off Fate and Bond, and it is just ladder moves left with the operator. Not the ideal weaponry, and thinks better of it. It's gonna back off and save. Actually, here's the planting, and will push now the site. Not much point to save with only 1 round left after this.
Yeah, the operator in the hands of the ladder moves. We've seen what they can do, but unfortunately, we're going to go blind, and nothing's going to be seen at all. And Columbia not only into double digits, but forces us now into the last round of the half. 10-1 is a far cry from 2 13-8s in a row from Baker College, not to mention the 13-2 that solidified their their position here in the grand finals. I don't know what else to say, man. I mean, Columbia is just playing so strong right now. I don't know what Baker can do against this.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Baker has a more successful attack round. That's really where they won the map against Michigan State. I think it was 2-10 at the end of that half for Baker. But when you put yourself in this big of a deficit against a team like Columbia, who's a very similar caliber to you, you're gonna struggle here to really come back in this map. And Legend with the flash, I believe, going in there, and it will be just members of,
oh no,
this time Columbia falling, and it's 3v2 looking to get a 2-10 half. Still plenty of time here though. Big pick there from Legend. Now 2v1 as Fate picks off Legend. Bombs just ticking away. Evo doesn't get picked off. Evo gonna go big, gonna just try to stall it out, can't get it. And the Molly though, is that gonna buy enough time? I don't think the defuse is gonna go. It will go. Plenty of time.
Yeah.
And that'll be a 2-10 half.
They're barely gonna get it at just under
plenty of time, never a doubt.
Ooh, never a doubt. Everything's fine. I believed in Baker the whole time. That right there, even though we're switching half, that is going to be, that needs to be the momentum builder. Baker cannot let this slip through their fingers. They've got 1, they've got 2. Now let's keep it going. Let's keep that momentum moving. We've seen what Baker can do on this attacking side. Like you said, that's basically where they won earlier on against that other team, where they essentially did the same thing. They only allowed that defensive side to gather 2 points on the first half. So it is entirely possible that Baker turns this thing around, but it's just as possible that Columbia grabs 3 more and we head into the second map.
Absolutely. This pistol round is so important down 2-10, because if you don't get this, you go down 11-2, and you go into a superior or like inferior weapon buy, or you have to force buy, and you're already in trouble at that point. So this pistol round is super important for Baker. They're gonna need to get this one if they really have any hope of getting this map, and they're gonna do their long B strat. Legend gets picked off, and that's a big move from ladder moves.
Huge move. Ladder moves seems to be the brains of the operation so far, but oh my goodness.
Down A.
2, almost 3 players of Baker just ran into multiple right clicks. But let's see, that slowed it down just a little bit. It's Evo on site, essentially alone as the Trailblazer from Renai comes in. does the damage they
enemy
need it to
remaining.
do. The stun comes
Last
out. The
player
molly from
standing.
Evo does exactly
Spike
what it needs to
down
do. Ladder moves. Very little HP here. 1v1. 12 HP. A headhunter. 1 bullet.
I have the
And
spike.
hopes and dreams. Has an option to
30
gather
seconds left.
a classic or perhaps a ghost, but unfortunately Evo is ready and waiting. Doesn't matter if they have 2 HP or 200 HP, Evo's gonna knock it down, and just like that, Colombia continues their dominance in the second half, 11-2.
Yeah, and that's a kind of the nightmare scenario for Baker, because you're now in this forced buy situation. You have to challenge the buy from Colombia. You can't give them match point. So you're going to go in still with inferior weaponry, 3 stingers, a classic, and a Bucky, but of course Ladder Moves has the pistol as part of the utility. And then Colombia's just still outbuying you, and if you lose this, it's essentially a formality, that final round, because it will be assault rifles versus pistols, and not a good start. Big trade there from Demon going down, but Ladder Moves picks off Legend. And Bond looking for some kills with... Did he get out of that? He did. Ladder Moves fell to Evo with the Spectre. Fate gets a stinger and gets flashed. 3v2 here. And it is all but over as the attackers start to fall. Just Fate left, gets picked off here. And that will do it. It is now match point and a completely uneven buy. We'll probably see technically a bonus. So now you call the timeout?
Now you call the timeout when it's match point and you have a 10-round gap. What is going on with Baker? This is a completely different team. I think at this point, chalk the game. Give it to Colombia. It's just you're going to put too much effort into it and you're not going to have enough fuel in the tank for the next 2 maps. Give this map to Colombia and prove your worth on Lotus like you just did a little bit ago. Less than an hour ago, Baker showed us what they're capable of on Lotus. I genuinely hope for their sake that they can do that again, because Colombia is without a doubt forcing this into a second map.
Yeah, this is just a save your mental, GG, go next. We'll get them on our map pick.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
instead, we're going to call a timeout, and we're going to kind of sit in this map a little bit even longer, in this kind of steamrolling, and you're just going to kind of stew on it, and you're probably still going to be thinking about it in the break, and it's going to be it's just going to still linger there with this timeout, I think, because
X-Ray and I were talking earlier, the mental game is a huge portion of Valorant, of any team-based game. The mental game is just as important as the physical game. And so sitting here and just, it's unfortunate. You know, I can applaud them for calling that timeout, because I assume the most logical explanation for that timeout is just to try to slow down that momentum, try to slow that mental for Colombia, try to give yourself a little bit of leeway to regroup and see what you can do, put in a little bit more damage for this. But if you ask me at this point, it would just be better to give the game to Colombia and try your luck in the next one, because we know that Baker is solid on Lotus. So I'm hoping that they can really show up in this next map. But if Colombia continues to play like they're playing, I don't know if we're even going to see a third map.
Yeah, gonna be Renai playing, flashing out of the smoke. Gonna get picked off here. 4v5. Sky with the heals, getting everybody topped off. And Nami still being alive in that trade's huge for that extra health.
Less than a minute on the clock here. Still a lot of presence towards this B-long area. It's not a lost cause yet. Yes, keyword. Baker still wants to try to focus here.
Smoke's down.
They did send Ladder Moves A to try to make some noise there, but virtually no rotates from Colombia, but a quick trade. Carnage, my God, picks up 3, does finally get traded out by Nami, and there we go. Baker is set up for an okay post-plant retake with 1 coming up the flank, but Ladder Moves, you gotta move, Chief, you gotta go fast, move speed. Nami somehow still alive, picks up 1 while Ladder Moves takes care of business on the other end of things, and there we go. Baker keeps themselves alive. We're still at match point.
All right, they found a round here. They keep themselves alive, as you said, and it's going to be an eco here for Colombia. Actually, it's going to be 1 rifle, so still going to be an eco. for the first time, I feel like this map, you're going to have a weapons advantage for Baker. So it'll be interesting to see how this round goes, if they're able to capitalize and start to kind of snowball this in their favor. But still, you got to win 9 straight rounds just to force overtime. It's going to be next to impossible here against a team of with these caliber. Skills.
Yeah, it's no easy task, but Baker College is able to find themselves a lifeline here. But the question is, are they able to capitalize? Look at the aggression for Baker, all pushing out of showers. Is it going to spell doom? Demon goes ahead and shows us why they picked that name, but my God, Carnage and Switchblade in tandem both pick up Sheriff headshots and shut down that push. Well, slow down that push, at least, but this is a little worrisome still for Baker. They're down a man. They're down 3, really, but in terms of the advantage, they do not have it. Still at match point, 50 seconds on the clock. They know, I feel like they know for the most part where Columbia is set up, and Switchblade is ready and waiting, telegraphing his location, but I don't know if that's going to be enough for them to really understand what's going on here. I think now Baker has realized that the majority, that the remaining players of Columbia are all stacked in the same area, and they have sight open, but the problem is Nami clearing these corners, making a lot of noise, and now their best case scenario is for them to play post plant from showers, where one just teleported behind him, but Bond is taking care of business. A few more seconds given because of that bomb plant. Renee coming in with the Trailblazer trying to grab some information. Carnage misses the ultimate, throws a lockdown in the way. Oh my goodness. And there we go. I think that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, Columbia College absolutely obliterating Baker in a 13-3 fashion. You absolutely hate to see it. It's going to be 1-0 in the series in the favor of Columbia. That was rough. That was rough.
Yeah, and I think we need to spend a little bit of time talking about that brilliant play from Columbia on the last round. They, with inferior weaponry, what's the last thing that Baker's thinking you're going to do? They don't expect you to run at them, so let's just run at them, see if we can get some picks. We're already kind of tossing this round. And then next thing you know, it's 4 or 3v2. And you pick up some rifles and you're pretty much even, and you take the round with the alt there that we thought missed.
It did. I thought it did miss. It did not. It did not. You're absolutely right. That's how they won. Because it bounces off of walls for some godforsaken reason.
And then hits the next person. Yep.
It won the round. And even if that had missed, the deadlock wall did go down to provide a bit of a slowdown on that retake. So even if the lockdown, or I keep calling it a lockdown, even if the ultimate did miss, that wall would have slowed them down enough to get the defuse off, and it still would have been the same result. But even the numbers here, we can see the clear difference of these two teams. I mean, let's not. I don't want to drown this out by any means. I don't want to say clear difference in terms of numbers. There is one, but it's mainly top fragger versus top fragger. The rest of the team was relatively even. I think Bond and Demon were the exceptions there. Everyone else was in double digits across the board, the other 8 players. But you really got to give the MVP to that man right there, Evo, the Brimstone for Columbia, 20-6. As a controller, not exactly your job to go and get kills, but man, Columbia, I bet they are rolling. So glad that they picked this dude to just hop in here and demolish Baker, because that's exactly what they did. A controller coming in doing all that damage with a 360 ACS is nothing to shy at. Carnage close behind, 14 and 12, and then the numbers go from there. But I mean, all in all, Baker, we've seen what they can do. We've seen how dominant they were on Bind, and we did start to see a little bit more of some strength show in that second half when they hopped on attack. But unfortunately, they just didn't put, when it comes down to it, they didn't put enough rounds on the board for them to rely on that second half to bring them back into things. They only got 2 in the first half, and that right there just spelled doom. Even with the timeout, it just didn't give them enough mental preparation for what just happened to them. And we're going to get thrown into Lotus map number 2 here. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back in just a few moments. And we're back. And hopefully for Baker's sake, they're back too, because I don't know what happened on that one, but I genuinely hope that they took the few moments that we had a break and gathered their thoughts and figured out a way to shut Columbia down, because that's not the Baker we know. It's not the Baker we love, and I hope we get to see them show up on Lotus. But either way, Philly, that was a pretty solid introduction for Columbia to the stream tonight, because they have been playing all day alongside Baker, but that's the first time we saw him on stream, and what a way to show up on stream for your first broadcast. I mean, it was kind of nuts. 13-3, what a beautiful shutdown they had. But the question for you, Philly, do you think that's going to happen again on Lotus?
No, I think Baker's going to pull out their Uno reverse card. This is Baker's map. They picked it. They seem to like the 3 site maps.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to kind of see them dominate this attacking half here. I'd say 8-4, 7-5, that type of domination. I don't think we're going to see the same type of domination we just witnessed over on Bind. But I think they'll get enough in the attacking half to get the job done and force the 3rd map, and we'll head to Haven. What do you think here, Mickey?
I agree. I agree, and I genuinely, I'm not lying. I genuinely hope that Baker can put up more of a fight in this one, because it's, I mean, that was just unfortunate to watch. It was, I mean, unless you're a Columbia fan, then you were jumping up and down, throwing your popcorn all over everyone. But I think Lotus, like you said, Lotus is one of those maps that Baker, the 3-site maps, Baker just seems more comfortable. It's kind of weird, because they did the same thing. Haven, Lotus, they were just phenomenal, and fortunately for them, those are the 2 maps on the back half of this series. So if Baker comes into this with the strength and the communication that they had in the earlier games, then we are 100% gonna see Haven later tonight. But right now our focus is on Lotus, where we may be seeing Clove for the first time tonight. Perhaps.
It's hovered, not locked in. I believe, and it is now locked in. I believe this is Baker College running back the same comp from the first Lotus map we saw. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mickey. I know you were casting that. I was watching it. I wasn't taking his
ladder moves. Is the only difference.
He was on Cypher, wasn't he? And he's now on the Chamber again. Okay.
Yeah, but again, it's not that huge of a transition, Sentinel to Sentinel. It's definitely different utility-wise, and you might even argue that the difference in utility could be a mistake in a pick just because of that 3rd site. But again, Baker does seem very, very comfortable, very, very confident on these 3-site maps, so it is entirely possible that I'm just stupid and don't know what I'm talking about. But it's also entirely possible that I know exactly what I'm talking about, and I just told you the future. But again, it all comes down to this. This is Baker's last chance to solidify their holding here in the grand finals. It's 1-0 in the series in favor of Columbia. Whoever takes this map, whether we get forced into we may get forced into a 3rd map of Haven, or this could be a 2-0 series for Columbia. But either way, one of these teams are going to bed tonight $200 richer, where the runner-up will be given a $50, which, isn't nothing. $10 a person. That's like gas for a couple days, I guess, in this economy. But nonetheless, ladder moves proving his worth with that headhunter. It's the first pick of the day, with Renai getting the 2nd, and Fate with a quick trade there. And just like that, Baker showing their speed, their dominance, their cohesion, getting straight onto C site. No games being played.
There.
And it looks like the retake is about to push in. Evo now on the Omen, still a controller. Gonna throw another smoke. Gonna get blinded or paranoid there by the Fate. Not technically a blind. Switchblade gets 1 though. 3v1, is it gonna be enough? Not able to push up the ramp. And now finally able to rotate towards the bomb. Gonna go down. Nami picks up 1. Switchblade falls, and Baker College already off to a much better start here.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're already looking a lot better than they just were at this point in the game. They already have more points on the board than they did at this point in the game, which is the first round. So, and look at that. Look at that. Our spectator, Mr. Landis, out here showing us the bears again. Love it. I love the flower hat. They are different bears, but they are still gorgeous. We still love them. Is that bear deceased in the middle?
We're gonna say it's sleeping.
I hope so, because it's small. It'd be a little right. We need to have a conversation, but nonetheless, ladder moves feeling comfortable on those scoped weapons, looking for anything really down A long. But I don't think anyone's gonna bite that bait quite yet.
Yeah, we were just talking about this in the break. The Outlaw, a very powerful weapon in pistol rounds, does 140 damage to the body, and can really just outright win a pistol round by itself.
Yeah, if you hit your shots, and so far ladder moves pretty good at hitting shots. So we'll have to wait and see. Less than a minute on the clock here, as it looks like bomb is going to make its way to a site, but it also looks like Columbia is reading this rotate. A lot of movement up towards the top of the map. A lot of rotation happening. Baker, this is where they thrive, in the middle of this chaos here. A lot of information being gathered. Trades coming across the board. 4 versus 3 on the retake. Columbia not in the best position. Legend stuck in a corner here. Spike now gonna get planted, but Legend picks up one quick trade from Demon. There's one in the smoke, boyos. Look out, Renai looking to make all the difference with a couple right clicks. The Bulldog in the hands. All Renai has to do is play time to ensure the bomb gets defused here. Ladder moves with a headhunter, denies the fuse momentarily, but Renai again gonna go ahead and shut down ladder moves, and there we go. Columbia sliding right back into things.
And we're gonna go into this replay here of this final gunfight here, playing in and out of the smoke. Big plays here. Demon and Bond getting caught out by the player in the smoke, and it's just Demon almost checks it too. That's the frustrating part, I think, if you're Baker College, is that you thought about it and then you second guess yourself, and right as you turn around you get shot in the back. Very unfortunate timing there, and a lot of Valorant comes down to timing.
Absolutely. Whether it's money or gunfights or bomb plants, timing, in a lot of cases, timing is everything. So it's all about positioning here, making sure that you're in the right spot at the right time. But Carnage has the angle here. They're reading this push. Out comes the Trailblazer. No dice. A little bit of information gathered by Baker, but ladder moves making a little bit of noise down mid here. And again, we were talking about this earlier, the slow plays here, gathering information, rotating as needed, and Baker gonna go ahead and go for that rotate. Ladder moves down and out. Very unfortunate for Baker. They've lost that headshot machine. But 45 seconds on the clock. Baker's gotta push somewhere, and they gotta push hard.
Yeah, it looks like the answer is gonna be rotating away from A this time. Going to see one player over there.
30 seconds left.
By their lonesomes. Is this gonna be a successful hit here? Demon able to pick up one, but it does get traded out there, and Demon falls 1v4 now. Not looking good here for Baker. Fakes the plant, gets sprayed down, and Baker College falls down 2-1 after winning the pistol. Look at that. Renai now the one leading the board here for Columbia, 6-1. Switchblade 2-2, and then pretty evenly dispersed kills there for Baker College. Almost full, but I got a Guardian for Nami, and then a pretty even buy across the board, actually, when you put it together. It will be a quick A side hit. Nobody going down just yet, shooting through the smokes. And it is going to be playing around smokes again. We'll see if there is any success for Baker this time. Open the door, trying to open up a second way into the site. And we are looking at a push here. Now it's stalled out as Columbia players have rotated over. And it's just going to be sitting in the smokes waiting for the time being.
And I'm going to say it one more time. Timing is everything. It's all about the positioning here. Legend, a great position and locks in on ladder moves. And again, having that sentinel off the board is huge. But we were talking about positioning here. If we can get a player up in heaven to lock down this rotate, it's going to make it that much easier for Baker to take control here. But one down, one to go. Renai, quick resurrection here. Clove is overpowered. Change my mind, but it doesn't matter because Nami can't hit their, Renai can't hit their shots, but Nami picks them up. Demon doesn't know which person to aim at. Everything is falling apart. Baker, what happened? That was such a solid sight take, but they just couldn't hold the post plant, and Columbia gonna go ahead and continue the dominance that they were showing in the last map.
Yeah, I take everything back I said in between maps. Looks like Columbia College has Baker College's number. They know exactly what they're doing. On this defensive half here for Lotus. Lose the pistols and bounce back with 3 straight round wins, and you've already forced Baker into an eco round here.
Still not an impossible task for Baker. Still not impossible. It's going to be a little tough, but that's expected. Columbia is not a team to trifle with. But then again, neither is Baker, but the issue right now is Baker is just a different team than they were a while back. Look at the amount of damage that they have to do to that deadlock fence. I was going to say wall and fence, and it came out fall. Happy fall, but that's a lot of damage. You had to get rid of that, and they ended up wasting that Trailblazer and a lot of bullets to get rid of it. And all it really did was tell the enemy team exactly what their plan was.
And of course, they immediately have to bail out of it because you can't just walk onto a site when everyone knows you're there. So they're going to have to try and back it out. Now they're going to just continue forward again and try to re-hit here. Going to throw out the shortcut. Going to Demon with the ult. Not able to get anything crazy. Going to find one now through the smoke. Looking for more. Not sure if there's another player in there, so not going to spam that smoke. And Sky pops out. It's going to be another here.
I've got your trail.
Legend still waiting. And there's the kill for Demon. Demon starting to find their way here in this round here and warming up after kind of being very quiet in their terms in map 1.
Yeah, Demon though. It's a good thing they're on a team called Baker because Demon is cooking at the moment. And there we go. Bond gonna go ahead and compliment. A quick little 3-piece from Demon, and 3-2. Baker's gonna find their stride here. Hopefully they're able to continue the momentum here. I mean, Renai is currently sitting at 8-4. Demon themselves is 6-4. In terms of kills, this game is still anyone's game. In terms of score, this game is still anyone's game. But when it comes down to it, so far we have seen a lot more cohesion and teamwork and strategy come out from Columbia. But again, we cannot count out Baker.
We're going to see Legend on the op this round. Demon's going to get caught and concussed here. Still just going to be able to walk it off. No one pushed out, so no punish on that. Just going to spray down the smoke. Nothing going, and potentially going to rotate here through this doorway. Waiting still, though, as we play it slow. Op shot from Legend does take Fate off screen. Thought that was just a whiff, but it was aimed at somebody behind Demon there, who we were spectating at the time. So it will be a rotation off by Baker College with that op sitting there. They're going to elect to try and push A. Now it looks like quick rotate. One member over here. It's the deadlock again. Throws the wall to buy time. and it's going to stall out this Baker push.
40 seconds. Baker's got to make a decision where they want to go, what they want to do. Looks like they may be focusing towards this B site, where Nani is ready and waiting. Gonna cut off that rotate. Beautiful. Evo goes down. Controller out of the way. The smoke's off the board. It's gonna make it a little bit hard for that post plant retake, and there we go. Oh my goodness! The rolling thunder. Switchblade actually does somehow hit the headshot, shutting down that player. Demon continues to get shots of their own. Switchblade now looking for a little bit of information with that haunt. Not gonna find anybody though. Here comes Legend flying through the sky. It's a beautiful kill with the showstopper, but is it gonna be enough to shut it down? No. Demon going off, picking up 2 and 3 more that round and tying it up 3-3.
Yeah, this is a much closer map. More what we were expecting going into map 1. 3-3, back and forth we go. And it will be an eco round for Colombia. I'm interested to see if Colombia goes for it again here, Mickey, and just tries to run at them again like they did at the end of the last map on an eco round. It worked very well. But it seems like Baker hasn't been expecting some of the pushes from Colombia on defense, so they are going to start to push out of base, or out of sites, so they are going to kind of go to a similar tactic, even if it is a little bit slower.
Yeah, but so far, I mean, Baker, they already have.
Yeah, team.
Baker's already on the. Excuse me, words are hard right now. They have 3, which is what they ended the last map with, so if they get 1 more, they're already doing significantly better than they were on Bind. So, and we keep talking about how comfortable Baker is on these 3-site maps, but so far, it looks like Colombia is too. So this is still anyone's game, obviously. It's tied up. It's all about timing, economy, and working with your team. Look at the positioning from Evo. For the Sheriff and the Green set to do some serious damage, but they were ready. The Girthquake comes through. Demon sliding on through those DMs. Takes down Evo, but the rotate is already underway. Here comes Colombia. Are Demon and company, are they going to be able to get the bomb down before the rotate is able to lock in?
Another big pick there from Bon onto Renai. It's going to be a paint shells kill, I believe, from Legend, and then Carnage Meow gets a pick on Demon, so it's 3v3. Demon's down. Deadlock ultimate's got 1, but it is broken. And it's just everybody falling for Baker College at once. Carnage now gets 3, and that is the round in favor of Colombia.
Thrifty.
That's another eco round in favor of Colombia here, Mickey. That's 2 this map.
Too many. too many. Baker is just letting too much happen right now. They're just giving too much space for Colombia, but I have hopes that they can find a way to shut this down, to shut Colombia down for good. I have hopes that they can bring back the Baker that we were seeing in the earlier series, and they can find a little bit more strength in their tactics here. Because, again, I feel like a broken record. I keep saying this, but this is still anyone's game. It's not still anyone's series. This is the last chance that Baker has to throw us into that 3rd map. But this, as far as this map goes, it's still anyone's map. But right now, Colombia looking real strong, getting those 2 picks early on. A minute on the clock. Spike is still not planted. Switchblade kind of stuck in a corner here, but it doesn't matter because Legend picks up Demon. And just like that, it's ladder moves again in this 1 versus 3 scenario with a Phantom. Do they want to save here, perhaps, or go for the round? The Haunt comes out, no information to be had, but they know he's going to come from 1 of 2 places. Switchblade ready and waiting. Ladder moves. You got to check those corners. Please, for the love of God, check those corners. You saw him. No, the gun blocked the vision. 5-3. Colombia is still in control here.
Yeah, and that thrifty win on the economy round really flips the tables, and it's gonna be another economy round for Baker College. Only pistols. Last time Baker did this, they alted with the neon. We'll see if they want to do that again, and try and force down some B site pressure. The ult is up, but we haven't seen it popped yet.
Not quite yet. Not quite yet. Here we go. Demon. The fingers of death. Sliding on in. Picks up one. Looking for a second. Not going to find it, though. 2 versus 3 now. Baker, a man down. Still with bomb on the back. Ladder Moves has C sight. If they can just push up a little further and do some more damage, they may be able to make this doable, but they're going the wrong way towards Waterfall. Here comes a Prowler. Info denied. Renai sitting up in this rafters area, waiting for the plant. Bond gets bombed down. Bond with a bomb. Oh man. A net comes out, but Bond doesn't care. Aftershock to provide a little bit of slowdown on that retake, but they're gonna swing it. Here they go. There we go. There they went. Bond goes down. Renai here picks up one. Not gonna find the second. A quick trade from Switchblade, and it's gonna keep CC alive and in control of this match.
And CC's just clinched at least a split here in the first half, still with 3 rounds to go. Baker College needs to battle back here if they have any hope of forcing map 3. Already down 6-3, and as we know, Columbia's pretty good at snowballing, and we're going to get a timeout here. I think this is a solid timeout call. Good timing from Baker. Don't want to wait too much longer before you get too far behind, and it's really not ground that you can make up. So you got to call it early.
Yeah, you want to again. We keep saying this. It's all about timing. It's all about timing. This whole game is timing, as Drew Sword once said. But Baker College, they need to find a gap here. They need to do something to slide through the defense, because that's the thing. They have slid through the defense a couple of times. They've actually planted 4 times. 4 of Columbia's wins here are defuses. That word has lost all meaning. I said it too much. But Columbia's just been so solid on the defense here. They've been really, on defense specifically, they're not incredible at holding site, but they are incredible at retaking it. So if Baker can just find a way to solidify those post plants, then I think they're going to be okay here. But they need to figure out a way to do that within the next couple rounds, because if they let this, they have to tie this up, is what I'm saying. Because if they let this end in a 9-3 half, it's not going to be a fun time in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. They are, and then the 3 of the rounds they've won by elimination. I know for at least one of them they had the spike down, so it just didn't detonate because they got the kills first. So they've had even more plants than it shows on the scoreboard right now. So they are getting the spike down. It's just not, they're just not able to hold the sites, as you said, so they really need to lock down that post plants. Maybe they need to reconsider in that timeout their post plant positioning on some of these sites, and they're going to just rotate over to A. Again, deadlock on an island, but that deadlock wall able to buy time for the rotations here, and you can start to see the movement from Columbia. There's still a minute left. I wonder if they're going to break the wall and rotate out of here, and it looks like they might do just that as they're going to go back towards the A side.
That's just ladder moves, though. Moving to a lurk position behind. I'm thinking ladder moves gets a pick, either mid or C gets a pick and calls for a rotate, but at the same time, the rest of Baker looks like they're okay. Now they're following ladder moves, but Sky is still hanging out at A, hoping to cause some commotion. Maybe trigger a rotate towards A, a false rotate at that. But again, he's down 1 player. Oh my goodness, Legend with a beautiful shot. And now it looks like Baker is about to seal the deal on site control for A, but there's one lurking around. Oh no, Legend picks up one. Demon with a trade. Everything is falling apart so quickly for Baker. And just like that, Demon gets shut down. Ladies and gentlemen, Colombia is not backing down. 7-3 now. They have not given Baker a single inch.
7-3 in favor of Colombia. Plenty of time for that. 27 seconds still on the spike timer. And they're just able to force their way onto any site after it's been taken. And I think it's important to point out that Colombia is not, they're putting up a solid amount of resistance before Baker gets on the site, but they're also not throwing away lives unnecessarily so that they keep enough players back to get the trades out and get the retake done. I think that's important to note because sometimes you see teams just overly aggressively defend the site as if the bomb gets planted, the round's automatically over. It's going to be some spray down and through the smoke. That's a good pick for Baker to get here. What a pick. And they're going to rotate off of this, expecting the rotation coming from Colombia that is coming. 3 members moving over to the C site. And the spike's actually going to fake rotate and come back to C. So now it's going to be 3 into 2. Evo thinking of a swing, and it's going to be 2 down. Fate and Demon both get 1. Now it's 5v2 in favor of Baker College. And they have their options. 52 seconds to go. They can rotate off of this, or they can just force the only 1 here, 1 rotating over to the B site. And some shots go out, alerting of the Baker presence here, so you expect to see the rotation. You do see the rotation from Deadlock coming back through. Decay onto ladder moves is going to force them back. Nami gets the plant down, and it will be a 2v5 retake. One of the few times we've seen Baker have a man advantage, and then Carnage gets one. 2v4 now. The ultimate comes out, gonna get 1, I believe, does not actually get 1. Another pickup from Switchblade gets 2. Rolling Thunder forced out in a 2v2 now. Chamber also gets 1.
That Rolling Thunder might have saved the round for Baker, but it's all down to timing. Switchblade, I don't think Switchblade's gonna have enough time to get both kills and the defuse. They're gonna have to force a save here. Very little HP. They're gonna force a gunfight, try to do as much economical damage as possible. Gets taken out in the process. But hey, ladder moves is gone off the board. It's gonna help them a little bit on the money side. But Baker College is able to seal the deal with a 4th point on the board. Now the best case scenario for Baker is a 7-5 half.
Yeah, and if you're Baker, you're also thankful that this is the last round because of that economic damage Switchblade was able to do there at the end. You don't have to worry about your credits. You can spend everything now. Full buy up, couple members on light armor instead of full armor. But that's okay. You got a chance to make this 5 to 7 going into your defensive half. No pick off of the op shot there, so it will be kind of back to default. Actually, Columbia's going to push out here into that smoke. We'll see. That's going to be caught out there by the utility from Sky, and paint shells come out. Don't get a little bit of damage down, and it is just going to be Evo going down instead. Legend goes down or gets a pick as well, so it's 4v4.
Numbers game all tied up here. A minute on the clock. Watch out for that flank. Renai gets red. Beautiful shots from Nami. That's going to trigger a quick rotate to A. But I think Colombia might be ready for it.
I've got your
They're
trail.
playing mind games here. They go for a rotate, and then they change their mind, say, hey, I'm going to re-rotate here. Gotta fake out just a little bit, but Switchblade playing the angles, the headshots not coming in. 21 HP from Switchblade. You gotta get out of there. Reposition, wait for the team. The Prowlers are coming out. The Haunts are coming out. Every ability known to man is being dumped onto C site. Bomb somehow gets planted in the middle of all this chaos. Legend somehow finds his way onto site in the middle of all this chaos, but Nami finds him. Ladder moves finds Switchblade. Suddenly Carnage in a 1 versus 4. Gonna find one, but gets traded out by Nami, who picks up a 3-piece, and just like that, the first half is done and over with, and Baker have been able to find themselves a bit of leeway here.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty. Baker giving up 3 rounds and 4 rounds in a row, respectively. That's how Columbia got to 7, but Baker was able to claw out some at the one at the beginning, 2 in the middle, and 2 at the very end. And they brought this back to almost level, 5-7 going into the second half. And if you're Baker College, you got to be thinking it could be worse. We're right back in this game. Pistol rounds, mental reset on the half, and let's get defending. Evo, kind of the story of this game in terms of Columbia College going from top of the leaderboard last map to bottom this map. And I wonder if there's a little bit of a comfort or discomfort on Omen for Evo.
Demon doesn't care about your discomfort. He's there to do damage and just destroy your mindset. Demon picks up 2, Bond with the other 3. Baker College, where has that been? On the defense side is where it's been.
Yeah, well, it's been on the pistol round. They got the first pistol round. So we're going to watch this replay, though, and we'll talk about that. Just kind of all happened at once. So much happening. Demon just runs out and starts clicking heads.
Yep.
And does so much damage that round, even with only getting the 2 kills. But last time, Baker College won the pistol round on last half, I should say, and then immediately lost this second round. So we'll see if they're more prepared, ready to go. They're already up a man, or player, I should say, as it's 4v5 early pick. Bond gets another. Demon goes again, and it's now 5v2. Looking to get this knotted up at 7 real quick here, Nikki.
The aggression. That is where Baker shines, is when they get aggressive, they get that bomb down. But for some reason, they got bombed down and left it. Maybe they know something that we don't, but... Or maybe they don't know something that we... Maybe they didn't realize that bomb was dropped there, but they're still at a 3-man advantage. Baker, they're looking a lot better just in that first round and a half than they did in the entirety of the first half. But Carnage picks up 1. The refrag from Nami. Carnage now in a 1 versus 4 with a Sheriff and a Dream. I don't think this is going to end the way they wanted to. Bomb still on the ground. Picks up a beautiful flick to Nami, but unfortunately, Demon has something to say about it. And just like that, Philly, my man, I knew they had it in him. Baker ties it up.
Yeah, that was a little closer for comfort than you would want from Baker there after the start to the round, but they do get the job done. 7-7, and they are kind of in a bonus round. Kind of not. Actually, it's not going to be a bonus round. Ladder move's already on the op, so they are buying here. Fate actually going to kind of buy a ghost, so it's kind of a split buy here after seeing everything come through. We'll see they're a little bit less aggressive here. Actually, A side is where the action's happening this time. Big flash, not as much pushing, just kind of shooting through the smoke as both teams look for information, try to find out where everyone is. And another smoke from Omen comes in to hold this, and it does look like it's going to be an A hit. 4 of the 5 players stacked up on A. Utility out, utility ready, and here comes the push. It's going to be Paranoia from Fate, and then the TP out. Quick jump to get out of there and get the net removed. Another smoke comes down, and a pick for Bond. And also, there was a pick the other way. It's going to be 3v3. Health bars 2v3 now, though, but Raise for Columbia is low.
Yeah, Columbia was ready for the aggression that time. They were ready for it, but Bond is still standing. Ladder Moves is still standing. And those two together, we've seen what they can do. Can they do it one more time?
30 seconds
all tied
left.
up, 30 seconds on the board. Can't stress this enough. We've said it 9,000 times. We'll say it 9,000 more. It's all about timing. Exhibit A, Evo takes down Ladder Moves, and just like that, it's Bond in a 1 versus 3. Picks up Legend. Can he capitalize? The Paranoia comes out. It's going to buy Switchblade enough time to get on site. Get bombed down. Aftershock comes off. Not going to force the plan off just yet, but Evo is going to solidify that 8th point on the board, and Bond just barely couldn't do enough. Man,
yeah.
Baker. Ooh.
Bond just missed the placement there. Not able to get that utility over the spike carrier and force him off, and the spike goes down. and just gets picked off from there. Rolling Thunder's ready, so you can use that for retake for Bond. But you gotta just actually, Baker's got to be a little more patient if they want to use that Rolling Thunder to its best usage. But they could actually look to try to use it and push out after it, kind of like an attack push. But we'll see, as they've been aggressive, and that's been the most success here on defense, actually.
There.
Yeah, it's kind of weird how that works. Baker's on attacking side at sight. They can't find a round for a couple rounds in a row, and then all of a sudden they're on defense and they start dominating 2 rounds in a row. And maybe dominating is not the right word, but you know, they definitely took control for 2 rounds. Technically, because of the last 2 rounds of the first half, they technically had 4 rounds in a row, and that's enough to tie the game. But is it enough to continue momentum to push them further into this game to perhaps catch a break in the form of a lead here on Lotus? But Legend with the paint shells, that may end up getting one, but no. Baker somehow avoids the paint shells. Demon, no, barely doesn't escape the trap. The deadlock all comes into play. Ladder moves and Bond pick up 1, but Bond goes down. Demon goes down just like that to 2 versus 3. And again, ladder
30
moves.
seconds left.
We've seen what he can do in this situation. Are they going to be able to do it one more time?
Nami's going to get 1. There's the start of it. So it's 2v2. 1 is low. Going to get some information of where people are with the Prowler. It's going to now be Nami. And ladder moves. 2v1 pushing out. Ladder moves, you should know it's clear. Comms should have told you that from the Prowler. Evo's going to go low. It's now 1 down. Evo's going to go down as well. And it's 8-8. Nami and ladder moves find the round after going down 2-3. And the damage laid out over top was enough to make it pretty easy in the grand scheme of things for those 2.
There we go. Ladder moves protected the team while they got a half on the defuse. Nami came in for the last couple shots, and there we go. But we are gonna see a Columbia timeout here, trying to take a page out of their opponent's books, trying to slow down that momentum, mess with their mental just a little bit here. But Baker's definitely looking better now than they were in the first match of this series. They are almost 3 times their final score of that first map. I mean, it was just unfortunate to watch a 13-3. So Baker is starting to gather their thoughts here. They're starting to get some traction, realize, okay, we messed up. Let's try this again. And they're starting to gain some footing here. So hopefully they're able to get back on the board. But Columbia seems pretty intent on stopping that from happening.
Yeah, the timeout comes at an opportune time, tied 8-8. Still anybody's map, absolutely. And it looks like we still have some money credits in the accounts. We'll see how Columbia looks to do. And they're going to go for the full eco round, try and save up. And that should, in theory, give Baker an advantage. But we've seen how Columbia plays on eco rounds. They somehow managed to pop off those sheriff shots, be slapping into heads. So we'll see here as we move forward. It's going to be Columbia pushing B early.
Baker's doing everything they can to force this into a map 3, which would be Haven, which again, they were pretty solid on in the first series. In the semifinals, we saw what they can do. But Legend doesn't care what's in Baker's playbook. He just wants to shut this down and make this a 2-0 in the series. But Baker's got something to say about that. Baker College not backing down. However, Demon is going to back off, trying to give a little bit of space here for Bond to perhaps do some damage. But unfortunately, the only damage involving Bond is going to be that bullet to the brain. Less than a minute on the clock here. Columbia still has Spike in hand. They have B-side. They're able to get Bomb down, but they're going to play mind games here and rotate to A-side, I believe, where it could... Oh, man, they're doing a full rotate to C, but ladder moves could catch them. Picks up 1. The trade comes out, though. 2 versus 2 now. It's all evened out. It's all level.
30 seconds left.
It's anyone's round. 30 on the clock. I'm scared.
Yeah, and this is where this round really turns, because rifles now in everybody's hands. From the picks going down, Columbia able to get some rifles. Actually, now Demon's gonna go with the Fingers of Doom. Gets picked off 1v1. Fate versus Renai. It's gonna be some mind games bouncing around the pillar. Who's gonna have the peak? And it's gonna be Fate picking up the round for Baker College with the defuse here. 9-8, Baker College on top, map 2, and they are able to prevent the Thrifty.
Baker, for the first time since pistol round of this map, they are going to be able to capture the lead in this series. They've only done it once before in that pistol round, and then after that, that's the only time, even in the first map. I mean, it's just been a Columbia series so far, and Baker is doing everything they can to show us that they are still here, and they're here for a reason.
Both of these teams doing so much damage to each other. Nobody's economy is healthy. It's got to be an uncomfy feeling right now for both teams at 8-9, knowing this could be the round that sends you into an eco round, and you're either going to lose your lead or you're going to be down a couple more rounds here, depending on how this round goes for either of these teams. Going to be another slow push, kind of spread out here. B is the thought initially, it looks like, for Columbia College, but it is still slow. Evo on a lurk towards C, and the Spike's actually going to rotate over towards the C side, so they're going to pull out B and leave a lurker in B and A. So it's going to be a 3-person push onto the C side is what it's looking like. Sky Flash.
And that
should get some intel.
Sky Flash, that guided light coming in. The bird, go baka. Gets just the information they need to force Baker in a rotate. But look at force Columbia into a rotate. But look at Carnage's position here. Ooh, Fate just kind of blind shooting. He knows someone's there. He's gonna fall off the angle. Legend coming up with a showstopper. I don't think is gonna find anybody with it. Yeah, nobody's home, but
it bought so much space.
Nobody is still home. So they have A site completely. Baker backed off way too far. Carnage, oh my goodness. Demon just happened to be checking the flank at the exact time that Carnage was about to do some serious damage. That could be the trigger that turns the tables of this round, but Evo is still going off. Baker now in a 3 versus 4. Spike planted. It's utter chaos here. Nami picks up one. Renai with a quick resurrection. No. Are they going to be able to recover here? Yes, they are. Oh my goodness. Suddenly 1 versus 1. Round. I'm terrified. But Renai, I don't think is going to have time. I don't think Bond's going to have time for this. Barely, no. Nope. Just under 2 seconds of bomb, and Bond unfortunately does pick up a 3-piece, but he was the 3rd player in that. That's very unfortunate. It's all tied up. Columbia still showing us that they're here, and they're here to do some serious damage. And now Baker, like you were saying, is going to be forced into that eco round, and it's just it's kind of logical to assume that Baker is going to lose one more round here just because they're on pistols.
Yeah, and as you said, Clove being OP with the not dead yet ultimate, that came into play there. That was the difference in the round, because Clove died, came back and got a kill, and stalled enough time to get the win. Legend gonna fall though, so this is gonna be big. Fate gets a pick, 5v4 now. That weapon could potentially fall into the hands of Baker College as well, giving them another weapon in the arsenal. Chamber's gonna use the card to teleport back the tether, and it's gonna be a C site hit quickly. Baker smartly just gives up the site and is gonna play retake here, trying to get this round. Witchblade trying to find some information. We'll actually go right back to the sheriff.
I'll find you.
Throws out the information now, and here it is, a big pick. 4v4, 2v4 quickly as Nami and Bond get one each. Switchblade goes down, and so does Renai, and it's gonna be 10-9 Baker College on the eco round.
Baker and Columbia. This has just been, the entire second half has just been tug of war. It's been Baker trying to get back in this thing, and Columbia just trying their hardest to shove them back to the side, saying, no, this is our map. And Baker said, no, this is our map, but we need to prove it to you. We're trying to do everything we can to shut you down, and Columbia's just not having any of it. It is tie, lead, after one after the other, and it's just so much is going on right now, and Baker needs to find the real foothold here, and I think they may have just done it. If they can capitalize on forcing Columbia into an eco, the Rockin' Pistols now, this is entirely possible for Baker to take this, but we also just said the exact same thing last round when Baker was forced into an eco, and they still went ahead and threw a thrifty in our face, so you really never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, we said the exact same, the opposite way. But it will be 9-10. Columbia only has the Omen ultimate, so not a lot to work with there in that terms. So it'll be interesting to see what they elect to do. They're going to rotate away from A. They got some, feel like they got some rotations out, but as quickly as that happens, Baker recognizes that and starts to rotate over to C. So it's going to be 4 members strong here on the defensive side pretty quickly on the C site, playing off site again, thinking for that retake so that they can go 5 members strong in. And here they should know the C hit's happening, and they're going to just throw some shots through the smoke, try to get some chip damage down. Fate actually takes a bullet to the chest and goes down to 75. And it should now be the retake. Fate gets 1. Fate's on site looking for more.
Spike's still not planted.
Evo falls. Fate goes for the paranoia. Gonna chip down some. 4v2.
They've done it.
And they've done it.
Baker did it. They did exactly what they needed to do. They let no space for Columbia to plant that bomb. There was so much going on, they didn't even know what to do with themselves. But that right there, Fate coming in at the time that he did exactly what they needed it to do, and that is create utter chaos. Just take down that one player, and it provided a window of opportunity. And Baker dove through that window, and they landed on Columbia's face. Fate picking up 3, going huge to continue us in this game and potentially force us into Haven, a 3rd map. 2 more rounds on the board is all Baker needs. Oh my great googly moogly. Fate starting things off again. Said, watch me do it again. I'll do it again. Let me do it again. I'll do it again. Let's go. Let's go. Someone peek my smoke. Let's do it.
Just that quickly, it's 3v5 in favor of Baker College, looking to go to match point and force map 3. I should say map point, not match point. That'd be map point here on map 2.
Spike dropped.
Will be Carnage now throwing that spike back. It gets picked off immediately, and then just go switch play. Renai might as well make it a 3rd, but will back off with the spike. 5v1 before it goes to match point here, or map point. I keep doing that, Mickey.
They call it, it's match point. You're good. Even the voiceover lady, the Siri says match point. It's fine. But not only match point, but also... I was about to say it. They just did it. I was about to say it. I accidentally almost predicted the future, but it was... I was going to say not only match point, but flawless match point. And Demon goes ahead and proves that theory correct. And just like that, Baker, a completely different team in this second half than what they started with. It was a 5-7 first half, and there was a point where it was literally 7-3. They captured the last 2 rounds of that first half and then continued to do so with a bit of tug of war. They somehow fought their way back, and not only did they tie it up multiple times, but they now have taken the lead with a 3-round gap, and now we're at match point, and this is the last chance that Columbia has to shut them down and take the series. But Baker is dead set on getting us to a 3rd map.
Yeah, it's going to be Legend leading the way here for Columbia College onto this A site. Slowly walking up, taking their time. Don't want to give any information away for free, but there's a pick. Ladder moves on to Evo, and that might just be the opening that Baker College needed in this match point round. gonna be Legend pushing up. Plant goes in. Plant's good, so it's now all up to the push of Baker College to get back on site and retake.
I'm concerned about that push. None of them are coming flank, and that lower area has been cordoned off by that deadlock ability. That wall is going to prevent a little bit of push from the stair area, but it doesn't matter. Fate and Demon working in tandem, take site completely by themselves in a duo fashion, and now Renai stuck in a 1 versus 4. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and call it right here. Match point turns into map point 13 to 9. Baker College is still in this. We're going to a map 3.
Yep, and it's going to be Haven. It's going to be another 3-site map. We're going to do it all over again. And just as you thought Baker College wasn't going to show up really for the grand final, down 7-3, they run it right back. They only give up a couple rounds in the second half, and they force map 3. Wow, what to say there, Mickey?
I mean, we were talking about it. We knew that first map. I'm not going to say it was a fluke. I mean, Columbia was definitely solid on bind, but it just goes to show that Baker is a solid team, and they just needed some time to gather their thoughts, to readjust, to recuperate, and they did that, and they hopped on a map that we knew that they knew, and they proved their worth. They came back in a glorious fashion. And one of the reasons is right there on your screen on the right-hand side. Neon Demon absolutely going ballistic. Nearly 30 kills with just 15 deaths, 342 ACS, doing some significant damage, living up to the name for sure right there. But we can't knock Columbia. They were absolutely solid. They ran that first half. Even if they did give up 5 rounds, 3 of them being towards the end, they were absolutely dominant for at least 4 or 5 rounds in a row there. So Columbia definitely knows what they're doing, but the problem for them is so does Baker. So this series is going to keep going. We're not done quite yet. We're going to take a bit of a break before we hop into Haven here, where Columbia is going to start on defense. And we saw earlier Baker, it doesn't really matter what side they start on. They're pretty solid on this map. We're broken records tonight, Philly. Baker knows how to run 3-site maps. They know how to do it, but the question is, will Columbia allow them to do that? So we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll be back with you guys in just a few moments for map number 3. Ladies and gentlemen, we have returned once again with the grand finals, and you talk about grand finals. This is as grand as they could get. A map number 3. Not only did we have a absolute shutout in the first match on bind, Columbia absolutely dismantling Baker 13-3, but we also had one hell of a comeback in the form of 13-9. Baker coming from absolutely nowhere in that second half and capturing exactly the amount of rounds that they needed to shut Columbia down, thus forcing us into yet another 3-site map that we have just been talking about all evening, and that is Haven. Haven is going to be one of those maps where we just kind of watch and wait, because I'm done predicting things. I don't know what's going to happen. Every time I predict something, it's either a caster curse or it's just utterly wrong, so I don't know what's going to happen. Philly, do you have any predictions for Haven?
Yeah, I can predict that we're going to have one good, fantastic back and forth map. That's all I can tell you. I told you it was going to be a 5-7 on Lotus, but I thought it was going to be in favor of Baker. It was the other way around in the first half.
Yep.
And then I did get Baker coming back and winning Force map 3.
You got the numbers right. So
I got the numbers right, just the teams wrong.
Man.
But I think both teams are warmed up. Both teams are ready to go. They're chomping at the bit, ready to get into this map and see who's going to win the $200 and who is going to go home with the consolation prize of a still hefty $50. And it all comes down to Haven, as it should.
As it should. I always say it's not a best of 3 if Haven isn't in the pool. I mean, Bind too, honestly. Let's be real here. Bind is also an OG map, but we've been there, done that. It's all focused on Haven right now. This is one of the OG maps. It's been in the game since the game became a game. Said too many letters at the same time. But Haven is one of those maps. We've been talking about it where if you don't know how to play Haven, you probably shouldn't be playing the game competitively. I mean, you got to know every nook and cranny. You got to know the timing. You got to have the right composition. And when it comes down to it, we have seen nothing but chaotic compositions all day, whether they're meta or not. But I am interested. I do find it interesting that we haven't seen any double sentinels today, despite the amount of triple site maps. We've seen Lotus twice. We're about to see Haven for a second time. We haven't seen any double sentinels, and it just goes to show that you don't necessarily need that extra control. You just need to have a solid team on your bracket, on your roster. And if you have the right people, you have the right communication, you got the right cohesion going on the roster, I think you're going to be just fine. But we are going to have a bit of an agent change here. Ladder moves going back to the good old reliable Cypher. And I think that might be the correct pick, especially for Haven.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're going to have a Sova for Nami. I think that's the first time we've seen, not the first time we've seen Sova on Sova today or on Nami, because Nami played Sova the first time they played Haven. But the first time this series we're going to see a Sova. Going to be both one on both sides. And then Demon, I want to point that out, back on the Neon, popped off on Lotus. And those finger guns just go off in Demon's hands, and I think they're going to go off again. That's my early lean after agent select. Demon's Neon's nasty.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's definitely a reason they picked that name. I mean, it's pretty perfect. But all in all, I don't think any prediction is gonna nail this. I don't think there's anyone alive that is gonna be able to predict what happens here on Haven. These two teams have shown us time and time again that they belong in not only the Fall Minor, but in the grand finals of the Fall Minor. And again, before we hop into everything, I do just want to give you guys a quick rundown. This is the final map of the grand finals of the Great Lakes Esports Fall Minor #1. We do have a second Fall Minor coming up at the beginning of October. So if you have a team, if you go to a college, or if you want to get involved, grab your boys or your girls, hop on in, get your roster signed up. All that information is going to be in the description of the Twitch chat here. But nonetheless, Demon showing us what exactly he's made of, getting super duper aggressive here on C site right out of the gate, taking a bit of damage so far. All 10 still on the board. Spike planted at C site.
Yeah, it's going to be a retake here. With how quick that hit is, no blood yet, some damage laid down, but no kills. Carnage Meow gonna push forward with the team. Demon goes low, Demon goes down, and everybody falls for Baker. And that's a quick round 1 retake win for Columbia College. What a change of events there. Looked well in hand for Baker, and then all of a sudden the push came through and everybody was going down.
And I do got to say, that's like the third or fourth time today that we've seen specifically on C site this rush. And then all of a sudden the rush falls apart. They get a little too aggressive. They start heading in towards the spawn in the garage area. And then before you know it, those players die and there's no one left to hold the site. And all of a sudden it was Bond in a 1 versus 4, 1 versus 3. And it just wasn't enough to hold it down. So aggression is always great on attack, but you have to know when to retract your team, when to fall back just a little bit to hold those post-plant angles. So we'll have to see if Baker's going to make those adjustments. But Legend and Renai getting some early picks.
Yeah, that was a fantastic Sova dart. Highlighted 2 players, and those 2 players got picked off pretty quick. Demon already down. Nami now revealed by the Owl Drone Recon Bolt. And it is going to continue to be a re-hit A, I believe, as they are already down A long, backing it up now. And it's just kind of a tease it out. Big flash there. Not going to be enough to get ladder moves, who's still up. Throws up the Cypher cam. Believe that got taken down. And now it is a walk away here. Well, they keep thinking they're going to go back and away. They're trying to tease this A site still.
Oh, man. Ladder moves, unfortunately, gets taken out by someone else with a fixation on scoped weapons. It's all down
30
to a 2
seconds left.
versus 5 here. Baker's still alive, but barely. Are they going to be able to do much? Oh no, it all falls apart so quickly. And just like that, 2 rounds in a row for Colombia.
Right here.
And into the bonus round we go. Colombia gonna keep those weapons that they had in hand for round 2. Assault rifles in the hands of Baker College. And again, we had the same conversation in map 1. This is a round that Baker has to take if they want to get back in this map here early and not fall too far behind.
Absolutely. This is for all the marbles. This is it. This is the last chance for both these teams to solidify their name as the first ever winner of the Great Lakes Esports Fall Minor. Hopefully, will become a foundation for this organization to continue to do these throughout the next few years. But that's neither here nor there. That's a lot of future to be talking about right now. But Colombia is looking to put their name in at the beginning of that future. And Baker, I mean, I feel like all in all, if we were going to make a plaque of memorable teams from these events, both these teams are going to have to go up there. It doesn't even matter who wins this one. One of the names are going to be bigger than the other, in a different font perhaps, but someone's going to be in font size 12 Times New Roman just under it, and that's going to be the losing team tonight. Both these teams have done so much miraculous work. Both these teams have put in so much effort and strength and integrity into these games tonight, and they both deserve the world, but unfortunately only one of these teams will go to bed tonight $200 richer.
Take flight.
Again, Baker College gets a clean site take. Can they defend the site? It will be a pick here from Renai, but also fall 2v3, 1v2 now as Evo picks up Bond and Bond picks up Switchblade. Baker College has the advantage. Nami's just waiting. It's going to be Evo. Evo's going to get one, and it's a 1v1 ladder versus Evo. Evo doesn't know where ladder moves is. Going to have to try and stick it. Ladder moves is going to walk up, and at the worst time, peeks through the smoke. Evo 3-0 Columbia College.
Oh, man. Baker's got to find a gap here in this defense. They have to do it soon. They were able to get on site and plant the bomb twice now, but both times we're seeing that same issue that we saw in Lotus, the post-plant defense. Baker has just not been able to solidify those post-plants, and it's just heartbreaking because they're so phenomenal at getting on site, holding those angles. It's just at some point they're making mistakes and the whole plan falls apart.
And away we go, round number 4. This this map's starting to look like map number 1. Demon in. Demon's gonna get concussed up, gonna get hit with some damage from the Hunter's Fury. Hunter's Fury still up, not able to find a kill though. Plants coming out on B. Demon with the Bucky, it looks like, not able to find any picks here. Baker College does lose ladder moves, and now Demon 3v4 for Columbia College on the retake, and it looks like they're about to have another successful retake here, as nothing going right for Baker College after that spike goes down.
Nothing going right at all. In fact, everything but 2 things going wrong. Nami and Bond both getting involved finally though. As Bond goes down, Nami with a Spectre and Dream picks up 1, but Legend with the Operator picks up a 3rd. And that's all she wrote. Columbia going to continue the dominant side here in a 4-0 fashion, but Baker, again, they're comfortable on these maps. We have to assume that they just need to get warmed up. There's no way that this is going to be a repeat of the first map.
And similar to
remind you, it was a 13-3.
Yeah, similar to Lotus though. Baker seemed to, in the first half, kind of allow Columbia to go in spurts, and then they'd pick up a couple rounds here or there and just hang in there. So can't count them out yet, as they're still within striking distance. It's just a lot tougher going down 4-0. Again, another round where they buy rifles, and if they don't find a way to win it, they're gonna be saving.
As a wise band from the 70s, 80s once said, money, money, money. It's all about money.
Take flight.
It's all about money. Love that. Love it. Anyways, 4-0 is not where you want to be if you're Baker, but again, they might just need a couple rounds to get warmed up here. We've seen them kind of slack in the beginning of these halves and then come to life in these mid rounds. And I hope that is the case for Baker's sake, but for Colombia's sake, you gotta hope that's not the case and that Colombia just continues this dominance. But again, anything can happen at this rank. Anything will happen at this rank. And Evo somehow connects the wall bang onto Demon. The paranoia comes out to try to slow down that push. Hunter's Fury to deny the the retake here, but is it going to be enough? Takes down Evo. Bond picks up 1, 2 versus 3. Baker's College still at a man disadvantage. Bond's alone on site. Nami's got to find a way to get to his teammate before he goes down, but no, it's not going to happen. Nami does pick up Renai for the trade, though. Get in that cubby, homie. Sit still. Try to play as much. Well, no, don't play time, but try to get some information here. Shock darts out. No one's home, though. Picks up Legend. Aftershock comes out. Breach with a repositioning. It's all about timing here. Switchblade. I don't know if Nami's ready for it. He was, but it's no dice. Not quite prepared for the angle Switchblade came from, and there we go again. Another defuse, and Switchblade clutches it up for a 5 rounds in a row lead for Columbia College.
What a round there again. And now the timeout comes out. Perfectly timed here for Baker College. Definitely needed early again. And see if they can bounce back. They called a timeout early in Lotus and seemed to figure some stuff out. So we'll see if they can put together some attacking rounds here with some wins. Because Columbia College looking to run away with map 3 just as they did with map number 1.
Yeah, and you got to wonder if Baker's going to let it happen or if they're going to find it within themselves to pull another Lotus and turn this thing around. Because at the moment, Columbia is just looking so strong on the retakes. And that really is, if you ask me, right now, there's definitive evidence that Baker needs to adjust these post-plant retakes, or these post-plant holes, I should say. Because Columbia, every time Baker gets bombed down, 4 out of the 5 times that Baker has gotten bombed down, well, Baker's only gotten bombed down 4 times, but all 4 of those times, Columbia has retooken. They retake site, and they take the round, and it's just unfortunate for Baker because we know that they are a solid team. So if that's the one thing they have to adjust, and they got to find a way to adjust it, and they got to do it now.
Let's get set up.
Absolutely. The good news for Baker is they will have a chance to readjust here after this event if they're not able to take it and kind of scout out and find those post-plant options, as there will be another fall minor next month on October 12th and 13th, I believe, if I got the dates right. We can double check that here as we go, but it's going to be, we're back into it out of the timeout, and another quick plant for Baker College, and now they've got to figure out the post-plant right now. Baker already drops 1, but picks up a trade there. Bond goes down 3v, or Bond gets a kill. Bond gets another 3v2 now, and Bond goes for 4. Bond looking for a potential ace, can't find it, but that should be enough for Baker to take the round now. 2v1, as long as we don't cast or cursed it, and we did not.
Hey, if that's the result of a caster curse, I'm going to keep cursing as much as I can. I mean, ooh, it's about time. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible, but you just hate to see these stomps in general. As a caster, we were talking during the break, it's very hard to watch a game that is extremely one-sided, and we saw that earlier, the 13-3 on Bind. I mean, it just comes to a point where, is Columbia too strong, maybe? Maybe Columbia just needs a nerf. Maybe we just need to go into the console settings and adjust them. But Demon gonna go ahead and adjust them himself, picking up an early pick, but immediately backing off, grabbing that 1 early pick, that Silva, that information. That's a huge pick, but was it a mistake to back off that early? And look at Carnage.
Did he see the spike? Did he find it? But he's gonna find two here potentially. But nope, just
one.
so far gets one, and Demon goes for three back on A site. It's gonna be a rotation now. They got to get the spike here, but there is a member in their spawn, and that is gonna be Killjoy getting it. Demon goes for four. Demon now with a chance for an ace. Gonna rush to C, but here comes Breach. Gonna know where they're going. Gonna quick rotate.
Spike planted.
Throws down the tremor. Nothing going.
A fault line comes out, but I don't see this working in the way of Switchblade in the 1 versus 3. They're all sitting down long. Bomb is very clearly planted for them. Not to mention the one-way smoke. I mean, this is not looking good for Switchblade. I think we're going to see a 5-2 scoreline here in just a few moments, but you really never know. Bomb is ticking away. Demon is going to capture that ace, and there we go. Hopefully Baker can build off the momentum of not only that ace, but now 2 rounds in a row. Let's see if they can keep it going.
Yeah, economy's still pretty well in hand for Columbia, but they will need this round if otherwise they're going to have to save. So it'll be interesting to see if Baker College is able to keep the ball rolling. They do seem to be just steamrolling onto sites, and then now with some solid post plants, some solid positioning, playing more off-site for the retake. I think that's a change that I've noticed they've made here, Mickey, that I'm liking.
Yeah, the main difference is Demon has gotten significantly more aggressive. Because we saw it in the first round, the aggression worked, they got bombed down, but after that, it just kind of fell apart, and we didn't see any more aggression after that. And the moment we see Demon get super, super aggressive down long, they win not 1, but 2 rounds in a row. So it's the aggression and the adjustments that they have made. It really could spell a big old W for Baker here, but the main question here is Columbia gonna allow that to happen? Legend has a beautiful angle to do some beautiful damage, but they may get a little too aggressive here. No, a whiff on the op shot. Gonna go ahead and teleport to safety. Renai, though, is ready and waiting with the wall bang for Demon. Nami can't hit shots. The trades are coming out. The rest of the team follows through onto site for Baker, and that's gonna trigger a rotate. A quick from the shadows, and all of a sudden,
30 seconds left.
Omen's on the other side of map with bomb planting, but look at Evo. It's entirely possible that Evo just defuses before the rest of the team even comes close to getting there, but no, ladder move shuts it down real quick. 2 versus 2 now. 21 HP for Nami. The flash comes out. I think he's got this, though. It's all about timing. It's all about the angles here. Carnage denies that information. 1 bullet is all they need, and Nami goes down, and there we go. Columbia gonna go ahead and seal the deal, continue to take charge here, but will Baker allow it to last?
Yeah, another very close round there, down to the thinnest of margins, and Columbia College able to come back out on top, 6-2. Baker College still kind of looking for answers, but we'll see here. They're going to look to threaten A again, kind of as their default, but I'm assuming the op is going to be down A again, so we'll see how that works out for them. Demon able to get into A long without incident, and it's just going to be a wait and see game here as an Owl Drone comes out again.
They should totally have Owl droids in Star Wars. That'd be awesome. Just little, just little droids flying around. That'd be adorable. They kind of had one, but it's okay. 6-2 is your score line. This right here, Philly, this is it. This is for all the marbles. Baker's got to find a way to slide in there, and on the other side of things, Columbia's got to find a way to shut them down. This is it. This is the grand finals. This is the final map. How poetic would it be if I curse it by saying we're going to get a triple overtime?
Well, we know how Caster curses have won so far, and Demon gets one. Baker College Baker College to get that triple overtime. Caster curse has a lot of coming back to do.
Yeah.
A lot of work to do here. Hunter's Fury out,
30 seconds
looking
left.
for the planter. Gonna get some damage down, but no kills. Now Shock Dart out to try and clear sight as well. That's gonna chip down Bon as well. Nami waiting. Ladder moves and Switchblade both get a pick. 4v2 now for Baker College. Demon gets one. Demon looking for another up in heaven. Nothing going. 3v1. Big damage from Bon, and the pick goes out onto Switchblade.
The aftershock. That was very poetic. The breach sends an aftershock to kill the breach. I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way, to be honest. I mean, it was just poetic justice right there. Breach on breach violence. We love and hate to see it at the same time. Leave the Swedes alone. 6-3. Baker is starting to gain a foothold here. They've gotten 3 rounds, not in a row, just 2 in a row. Then it got broken up. But the good news for Baker is Columbia is now on a save round. So Baker has an opportunity here to close that gap a little bit more, the 6-4 scoreline, but it all depends on timing and their aggression here. And right now, it just looks like they're playing real slow, looking for any information.
Yeah, they're going to run into this Killjoy turret in garage. Actually, they're just going to rotate over to B and see if they can find anything where Switchblade is waiting. Switchblade actually moves over towards garage because the Owl drone presence. This B site's pretty open. As I say that, there is the alarm bot that goes off. Vulnerable is Demon. Can't get P tier. Legend could swing. Will elect to wait. The smoke comes down, and it will be just kind of a back away moment here for Baker College. They're taking their sweet time. Still 45 seconds on the clock, and the rotate comes out to A. That's Sova, though. That Sova's in a dangerous angle there if they go short, but they will go long.
They're going to turn their attention to long. Demon, check your corners.
30 seconds left.
One sitting in sewer. Fate takes care of him.
Cypher's about to get shortied, and he does.
And he grabs the op, or not, it picks up the operator.
Oh, what a...
These ladder moves go down. No, don't fight that. Don't push it. Okay, they're gonna push it. They don't care if they have a shorty and a classic. They're gonna push it, and they're gonna lose the fight. And suddenly it's a 2 versus 2 as Demon comes back with a 2-piece of their own, but Carnage finishes it off with 2 share of headshots, and that's all she wrote. 7-3. CC Valorant are not letting this one go, but neither is Baker.
Yeah, that, as you said, in the moment, that was a questionable decision for Baker to push into A short and try and challenge the shorty op combo that was down there. And it did not pay off, getting 2 players killed for nothing. And that's really what swung that round right there. Baker's, I think, insistence on trying to win back that op. As we get into the round here, it's going to be another Demon quick push into A long. And this time it's going to be a push out from Valorant with the clone there, but nothing happening as everyone's just going to kind of walk away. And we're going to go back to some rotation defaults here and try and find some openings. Baker College potentially going to look B here with the ladder moves, trying to gather some information. Potentially going to garage. Ladder moves is going to get opt off by Legend. The op has moved to B site, and Baker College just found that out at the detriment of 1 player.
If losing 1 person to get some information is the price to pay, then I think Baker's going to take it. But the problem is they're losing 1 too many. Now, with Fate and Demon both going down, Bond finally gets a trade, but it only brings it to a 2 versus 4. Now, Nani trying to put some shots into that smoke. Yoru's on site getting all the information now down long, and I think Nami might be doomed here. Shorty comes out, but no, picks up 1 through the wall. 1 versus 1. All Nami has to do is play time. The shock darts come out. The Rolling Thunder does what it needs to do, and that is buy Switchblade time to shuffle on down long and pick up that kill on Nami. And just like that, 8-3, 1 more round in the half. Baker is just clenching right now.
Yeah, excellent investment of the Rolling
Last
Thunder
round
ultimate
in
there
the
from
half.
Breach to get the round going up 8-3, 1 round to go in the half, and Columbia College looking to make this a 9-3 half and kind of just put this one out of reach from Baker.
It's a scary situation to be in for Baker.
Yeah, especially on this half buy here, going into the last round compared to all assault rifles and an operator. So definitely down on weaponry, not a place you want to be when you're already down 8-3.
Yeah, but we have seen them do more insane things, especially with that stinger in the hands of Demon.
Gotta go.
The armor is what I'm really worried about for Baker here. It's either half shields or no shields. There's 2 players with full, but unfortunately the money comes into play. Not everyone's able to afford a full kit, obviously, so it all comes down to the aggression and the timing here. Carnage picks up ladder moves. That's a huge. That Cypher off the post plant is huge. Bomb somehow gets planted in the middle of that Rolling Thunder. Demon picks up one. His buddy's there to back him up. The lockdown gets destroyed. That destroys the chance of a retake for the defense.
Last player standing.
But Demon's still in trouble. Switchblade finally picks him up. Nami in a 1 versus 3 gets caught off by the clone. Legend picks him up with the operator. And ladies and gentlemen, 9-3 at the half. Are we going to see a curse in the favor of Baker College?
What a round.
Switching sides.
Again, looking fantastic for Baker College, and then everything falls apart once the spike's down. So it is 3-9. We'll see if Baker College can do anything defensively here to try and claw their way back into this game. Pistol round is up next. And like we talked about in map 1, this is a round Baker needs. I hate to say you need a round before you're to match point, but you need this round because you can't let Columbia get to 10 rounds while you're still sitting at 3.
Just like that, we're all reset. Economy. We got some shields on the side of Columbia. Is that going to be the difference maker here? Baker opts for a good amount of ghosts, but is it going to be enough? Again, we see in this grand finals, we're seeing Tinder right there. We're seeing a lot of these slower plays the further into the series we get. Really, the further up in the skill level, you start to see these players play a lot slow and play for that information, play with their team rather than a run and gun strat that gets you 1 kill and then die. But, you know, we've seen very little of that tonight. Ladder moves. CSGO surfing behind the box there, trying to get a little bit of information. Very little gathered, but looks like a pretty standard coverage here for the defenders. Aside from that 3-man stack at A, it has me a little bit worried, but it's going to be nice if CC goes mid, and it's going to be a pretty quick rotate for Baker. But now it looks like they're focusing towards A site, perhaps.
Yeah, right into the teeth of this Baker College defense. 3 members stacked on A, and here comes the push. We'll see how much information they give here. Shock dart out. That should have done some damage. Actually, it might have went past everybody. Everyone up into A site mostly. Kills come out. Switchblade and Renai, but ladder moves and Fate get a couple, and now it's 1v2 Baker College, and Baker College takes the pistol round.
There we go. They're not out of this just yet. First round of the first half. We're going to get some guns on the board here. A couple Bulldogs, a Spectre, and an Ares from Pawn. I mean, you got the wallbang flash. Might as well go for the wallbang gun. I mean, it's too bad we're not on Ascent. That map is made of paper. But the Ares could come into some serious play here, especially on that defense. We all know what I'm talking about. That Sewers wallbang could be detrimental if utilized properly, but looks like yet another A push from the attacker side here.
Yeah, we already know how deadly Columbia is with sheriffs in hand. They've won quite a few rounds like this, and it will be the push now. And there's the kill from Renai onto Demon, and Down
Spike
goes
down A.
Nami after Nami gets 2, so it's 3v3. Health bar advantage in favor of Baker, but Spike goes down and it's retake time.
Retakes are what we've seen Baker struggle with in the past, but it seems that ladder moves is making short work so far, and Bond there with the Ares to solidify that retake, and just like that, Baker College coming back a little bit more so, trying to close that gap. 9-5 now. They still have some tank in the gas.
Absolutely not a cheap round for them though, as they did lose 3 members, so economy could be a little questionable here. It is going to be what was usually considered the bonus round though, so they probably will elect to run in some half measure of guns is what I'm seeing. Some sheriffs, the bulldog that they pulled, 2 bulldogs that they pulled out of the last round, and then a shotgun. So it'll be advantage Columbia here, but in this matchup I can't tell anymore just based looking at the guns. You never know who's gonna pull off something crazy.
You really never know. You really never know. And there we go, Exhibit A, Demon with a distance 1 tap ski with a sheriff. They just want to save all the guns apparently.
Yep, that's a gun juggle to keep the gun out of Baker's hands since they have inferior weaponry.
Yeah, exactly what's happening. Try to keep the weapons on your side. Try to keep the favor on your side. But I mean, is it really going to make a difference here? Baker has the man advantage. Time is ticking away. Carnage and company have to figure out what they want to do here, and they're going to have to do it relatively quick. Less than a minute.
Yeah, time ticking down on Columbia. They're going to just look to try and force A, it appears. Owl drone out. This is going to get actually not found out. I believe it either got shot down or the battery died before it was able to find anybody. So now it will be a push down. Renai gets Nami, and it's going to be another for Carnage. Meow on the Demon. 3v3 here. Carnage goes down by Bond. Bond goes down, gets traded out. 2v or 1v1 here. 13 seconds to go. Low health for the Cypher. Smart use of the recon to guarantee the plant and then the kill. 10-5 for Columbia College, and we are only a few rounds away if Columbia College gets on a roll.
Hey man, look at this replay here. Bond picks up 1, but is very quickly traded out. The follow-up from Switchblade. Ladder moves, gets a trade of their own, and like you said, the play from this recon dart might have just won the round. Either he gets scanned by the recon or he has to stop and destroy it. Either way, it slows down ladder moves enough for Renai to get bombed down. And that's exactly what happened. And he just happened to hit his shots perfectly on that Cypher with very little HP. And it won him the round and sends him straight into double digits. Columbia now 3 away from taking this series and the title of Grand Finals winner. But Baker College still not out of this. A 5-round comeback is not impossible, especially now that we have some rifles on the board. But again, it's all about that teamwork at this stage.
And Columbia starting to get the timing a little bit better. Delayed that push into A until Demon had shoved out A long and tried to get a pick. Demon smartly backs away. Smoke is down, so now it's going to be an A push, it looks like here. Now Demon's going to rush it again, but loses 2, loses 3. Legend and Evo go off. 2v5 retake here for Baker as the spike's about to go down. And it looks like a potential save here, or they're going to come around on the flank, try and get some picks. Nope, they're just going to go straight to Cubby and hide. They want to keep those rifles for another round, live for another day.
Yeah, I mean, at 2 versus 5, I mean, despite the fact that it's ladder moves in this position, I mean, these are both pretty solid players, but they know that it's going to be a little bit of a lot of a risk to lose not 1 but possibly 2 rifles heading into this next round. I mean, they're already going to be down on economy at an 11-5 scoreline. It's not worth the risk to lose these weapons, but it is definitely worth the risk to hold those angles and get a pick or two. Get a little bit more money on the board for the team, and Baker, unfortunately, not going to be able to do much for this round, but carrying those rifles in could make all the difference in the next round. CC still ahead, 11-5. And the timeout comes out. There we go.
Interesting timing. 2 rounds to go for Columbia to clinch Fall Miner 1. And the timeout trying to derail that momentum as it's been 2 rounds apiece in this second half. And Baker College in questionable economic range here.
Yeah. Fall Miner 1. All the marbles here. Fall Miner 2, early October. Get signed up. And then we have a Fall Major coming up as well in November at the end of the year. Get signed up for that one as well because it's going to be a banger. Speaking of Great Lakes events, there is actually a Rocket League tournament going on next weekend, I believe. Yes, next weekend. Great Lakes CRL. Be sure to tune in for that. That is on our other Twitch, Great Lakes Rocket League, I believe. Or Great Lakes CRL, I believe is the name of that Twitch. So, yes, Great Lakes CRL. Thank you, production. Just want to make sure I got that right. But also, make sure you hit up Great Lakes on Twitter, GLEsports_LLC. Get all the information. GreatLakesEsports.org as well. If you want to get involved in one of these tournaments, either Valorant or Rocket League. We have room, and we are eager to see you and your team put your skill to the test. And at the moment, Columbia is putting Baker to the test as well. And unfortunately, Demon got way too excited on that one and got picked off really early, and that could spell a big L for Baker this round just because they lost that player.
That's going to be tough. Uphill sledding it now for Baker College, defending with 4 players on a map with 3 sites, and not a lot to do here, but still Columbia taking it very slow, not wanting to overstep and walk into a potential trap here. Looks like for the setup, they're rotating A, so Baker College has a hunch that this is going to be A. Legend throws out some utility. Nothing really found out here. And now the move is now, and it is going to be a pick for Legend. No way.
They just let him do that. Are you kidding me? Legend living up to the name with the reaction time of Zeus himself, absolutely shutting down not 1 but 2 players off of the gate crash teleport. That was the opening that CC Valorant really needed, and Carnage goes ahead and shuts it down, finishes it off. Not only a flawless round, but pushing it into match point as well. I want to see this gate crash one more time because this was a little ridiculous. Slides it into under heaven. Not only does Nami whiff the first shot that could have shut it down early, but Legend also picks up Fate as well, and that was everything that CC needed in that moment to allow them onto site, get the bomb down, and then continue their reign of terror now. 3 rounds in a row. It's not what you want to see if you're a Baker fan. Match point, 12-5. Baker, you have to pull out every stop right here, right now, if you want that 200.
And ladder moves down sight, gonna try and get a pick, and does. Concussed though, this is dangerous, and gonna get killed by the clone, catches him out. Legend now moves forward with the ult, dimensional drift straight into the crew, mapping them all out, and will get out in time. Now gonna come back into play, and just goes right back to their body. Gets all that tactical information as Carnage Meow gets one. Killjoy lockdown, all down. And also, that is just clean from Columbia College. Everybody dies, 13-5 win. And your Fall Miner 1 champions is Columbia College. And I'm just going to say, Mickey, that's some deja vu. Because for those of you who don't know, Columbia College also won Fall Miner 1 in Rocket League last year. In fact, Columbia College won pretty much every event in Great Lakes CRL last year, and they have come into CVAL, Great Lakes CVAL, and just put on a show today.
I don't even know what to say. I mean, Baker showed up, right? The first map of the day on stream, they showed up in a 13-8 fashion, looking pretty solid. They did it again. And then they did it again, 2-0 series, the first best of 3 series today in the semifinals. Offline, Colombia did 13-2, 13-4. And then we see these two Titans clash. The first map of the series was an utter shutout, 13-3 in Colombia's favor. Lotus somehow gives Baker a chance to come back. They force us into a third map, and then this happens, 13-5. This is no longer they're better at this map, they're better at that map. This is strictly Colombia is just better. Colombia is constructed alternatively. They are built different and they know it. They are a force to be reckoned with and they're here to stay. GG's to both teams, but my goodness, I do want to break down that game just for a few moments here. Just to, Philly, what do you think Baker did wrong here? Or what could they have done better, I should say?
Yeah, I think we kind of keyed into it during the map. Specifically on attack side, and it seemed across the board for Baker, they had some severe problems with defending retakes. Yeah. They really needed to find better post plant positions. But conversely, you also saw them on the defensive side successfully retake a lot. So they're taking sites and they're retaking sites. They're just not defending sites super well on either side. So I think they need to look at that. If I'm not qualified, just so everyone knows, I'm not qualified in Valorant to give advice. But as some just casual observer, that's what I noticed.
No, I agree 100%. There was one thing that really stuck out to me for Baker, and I don't want to spend the whole time just pooping on Baker because they are a phenomenal team. But there is one more thing I have to point out is they were phenomenal at aggression, but also I think aggression was one of their biggest flaws. We saw time and time again, whether it was Demon or ladder moves towards the end of that last half, whether it was on Lotus or here on Haven, where one of those players on the team would just push and get a pick and then they wouldn't back out, or they weren't able to back out and they would just get killed too early on. And the problem with that is they were alone, especially in Demon's case, Neon is just too fast. Ka-chow, zoom, just zooming on by everyone, and they weren't able to get the help they needed. And it comes back to that, whether you can go in and get an ace every round doesn't matter, because when it comes down to it, you have to play with your team. And that, I think, is the reason that Baker even made it to the grand finals in the first place, is they are very, very good at playing together. It just, in these few moments, they just didn't really know how to do that in certain situations. But at the end of the day, they are both phenomenal teams. They both deserve to have their names etched into the history books of Great Lake Esports. But unfortunately, at the end of the night, Colombia is your Fall Minor 1 champion.